You're right. Hey, EDDBUD here, and today I'm looking at the Nike Legend React 3 Shield after 100 miles. They were wet miles. "100 miles as an agent of Shield. So how did these water repellent tanks hold up? Let's get to it. So upperwise, the comfort and utility style functions of the shoe have been superb, keeping my feet dry and cozy through some very wet winter months of December and January. The internal lining within the shoe certainly does help to keep your foot warm, and it's been pretty chilly on a few of my runs, it has to be said. In fact, I can't recall a single run where my foot's ended up completely saturated and wet, and I've just kind of felt a bit meh. It's always been good in this shoe, always. Every mile's been enjoyable. There's not been a single time where absolute saturation has sullied my socks. Toe box height and width for me is absolutely perfect. It's quite a roomy shoe, not overly roomy, but certainly accommodating, like a quaint bed and breakfast on a Sunday morning. What on earth does that mean? You know what I mean, where you get a really nice breakfast and there's like a really pleasant old lady that runs it. It's kind of that level of accommodating. Despite constant cycles of getting very wet and then getting very dry again, the shoe's upper hasn't really flexed at all or shrunk. It's just remained consistent. Far more breathable than that boil in the bag Pegasus 36 Shield that I tried out last year. It always reminds me of one of those sachets of boil in the bag rice that you can get. Just not good, that shoe. I found the shoe true to size. I went for a size 11 UK, US 12, and absolutely true to size. Zero heel slip at all. I've never had any problems with lockdown. Despite my hesitations when getting the shoe with this toggle type lacing system, it just works. Loyal in the lockdown and true in terms of tightness pretty much the whole way through the test period. So good job, Nike. It's actually convinced me to buy a few sets of toggle laces to put on some other shoes to kind of test them out. Kind of like it. No need to retighten ever, just get out in the grime and go. Those flywire pieces do add to the winter broth, and the silicone wrap on the heel means you can remove the shoes even with frozen fingers. Top-notch upper rewarded with a 2.8 out of 3 after 100 miles, only reduced slightly by the occasional flying end toggle piece here. It would come loose and flap about, like some sort of weapon or something from Castlevania. If it's the first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch my new videos. And it also really helps the channel out a huge amount if you give this video a thumbs up like. Dankeschön. Midsole now. A React midsole here in the Legend React 3 Shield, but it's a more infinity run style React than the stuff that you get in the Pegasus 37 or the Zoomfly 3. So that means
it's the good stuff.
Squashy, but firm enough, like a tenderized steak treat, from what I remember anyway. Ideal for easy miles in the howling winds. By no means should you expect exciting and exuberant energy return. You're in the wrong place if that's what you're after. You're not going to get that from this shoe. Just a pleasing presentation of comfy cushion is on display. Ideal for winter conditions and superb for those easy days, recovery paces. This shoe is your shoe. You know what I mean. Very little to dislike here in the midsole, in fact, after 100 miles. I think if anything, it's got better as time went on. The React seems relatively unfazed by the colder temperatures that we've had here in the southwest of the UK. And you can't always say that about other midsole foams right now. Some of them just don't seem to like the cold. React, it's alright. One thing I did find a bit odd is the insole here is this really sort of cheap foam. Not the best stuff, but it does the job. Inserting my Innovate boomerang insoles soon solve that problem. Those insoles improve any shoe tenfold, as usual. I'm going to give this a 2.6 out of 3 after 100 miles for midsole, only reduced by the real lack of versatility in the midsole foam itself, but certainly better than the Clifton 7. That's all I'm going to say. Let's talk outsole now. So the outsole on Shield shoes can sometimes be a bit of an Achilles heel, hindering the usefulness of this utility footwear. I gotta say, there's barely any wear on the outsole of the Legend React 3 Shield. I've got a tiny bit of wear in the midfoot area here, and then a tiny little bit on the outer edge of the rubber here on the heel. That's it. This one's been doing some concrete crushing, grass gouging, tarmac trampling, rainy runs over the course of the time I've been testing it. As I say, a tiny bit of perceived wear in the heel and a tiny bit here in the midfoot. Other than that, it just looks perfect. Superb grip here from the Stormtread outsole, really does the job very well. Certainly the shoe has helped me navigate through quite a bit of winter already without any injuries. No angry ankles, cussing calves, or nonplus knees. I think the rubber's pretty fitting of a shoe called Legend, and even in very waterlogged park areas, it never let down, just like Andrew WK. I hope Nike realise what a winner of a shoe this is and don't end the line. It really is a great option for those winter and very wet weather conditions. I mean, if you live in a very moist environment, it could be perfect. Let's hope they keep that realistic rubber depth on future iterations. An unsung hero in terms of outsole duties here, so I'm going to give this a 3 out of 3 after 100 miles. Ideal for intended use. Value now. So this shoe's by no means a PB hunter. It's not a race option or a high-speed tempo trainer, but a reliable and really cheap, great value option. I got this for around about £75. I've seen them on sale for around about that right now. It's hard to pass up good value like this with actual functioning winterized properties. Great fit and that wet weather battling outsole. I think this one's been sadly overlooked really, where you've got the Pegasus 37 shield and the React Miler shield as well. This one's kind of sat in the background and I feel a little bit sad for it. It's been a fantastic shoe for me. I urge you to try it out for yourself. Go on. Go and try it. You know you want to. You'll be catered for if you got frosty or wet conditions. I think I've got my value out of the shoe already after 100 miles. It's just a good dependable number. Very little degradation in the shoe whatsoever and very commendable at this stage. I'm going to give this a 2.8 out of 3 for value. Only reduced a little bit due to apparent limited availability right now. And of course that lower than average versatility. But you know, you've got to be a certain type of person to want to do tempo and threshold efforts when it's pouring with rain and the wind's howling at 30 miles an hour. Like me basically. There's not many other people out there today. So that's my feelings on the Legend React 3 Shield after 100 miles. Have you got this shoe? Maybe you're thinking about picking it up? Let me know your views and thoughts down in the comments. Musical interlude time. Recently I've been digging back to some of my albums that I've picked up over the last 20 years. And there's a really odd one that stood out that I hadn't listened to massively since it came out, which was called Close Calls with Brick Walls / Mother of Mankind by Andrew WK. There's some mad songs on here, completely insane stuff. Originally intended I think as a double album, he's trying all sorts of things, experimenting with different sorts of genres, instrumentation and so forth. One of my favourites on there is I'm a Vagabond, which is clearly Andrew saying you can't pin him down, you know, you can't put your finger on him because he's a vagabond. Another real winner on there is Let's Go on a Date, where Andrews obviously wants to take somebody for a nice steak meal perhaps. I'm sure they'd be treated to a well-dressed man as well. Bit of cologne, you know how it goes. Really is worth checking out this one. Mother of Mankind and Close Calls with Brick Walls by Andrew WK. Many thanks for sticking with me to the very end, guys. I do appreciate it. I can't believe we're almost at 15,000 subscribers. I want to say thank you to all of you that are tuning in on a regular basis and all those that are subscribed. You guys make the channel down in the comments there. It's fantastic. I do try and get hold of all of you in the comments and reply where I can. If I miss some, I'm very sorry about that, but I try and get there as often as possible. So thank you to all of you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. It really does help the channel out if you give this video a thumbs up like and share this video with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you